Hey, happy Thursday. I'm Clover Thursday and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing, well, it's fall now and now I can no longer hide how I'm such a Halloweenophile and I can start posting more spooky things on my channel. So we're actually starting off with a portrait of Carmilla from the Netflix original Castlevania, well, the Castlevania, but the Netflix original version. I have not played the Castlevania games. I just never really grew up with the systems to play them with, and I guess I just missed the boat on that. So what I know of Castlevania is from walkthroughs and playthroughs and Let's Plays I've seen in the past and the Netflix series. And I will have to say, like, the Netflix series had absolutely blew past my expectations. Like, sometimes Netflix makes some good original series, and sometimes they don't. But this one was just, wow, it was really good. And I will not take up the 10 minutes to talk all about Castlevania, because I could, but I won't. But just some notes on it. Like, I love the animation. I love the styling of it. The story was really good. And I think what I loved most about it was the characters. Like, the character development, like even the villains had like this, you can understand where they're coming from even though they were abhorrent and evil, and I've never seen a depression portrayed so well for a vampire. Like, how would Dracula deal with grief? It was just really good, and I would recommend anyone to watch it if they're not super squeamish about, like, blood and gore and kind of stuff. But it was really good, and I think that's what I loved so much about Carmilla as a character. She's a femme fatale kind of character, but she dials up that fatale aspect like to 21. She like genuinely feels dangerous and not to be messed with, and she's ambitious and cunning and ruthless. And I don't know, I love it. Her character design also reminds me a lot of Claymore. The longness and the pallid skin tone and the hair, like, which is one of my favorite animes, so no wonder I love Carmilla so much. But yeah, I wanted to paint her, and I was doing a kind of a rough painterly style. This was honestly, it was a warm-up for kind of a day's work, so I didn't spend particularly long on this, and I wasn't planning to, but I really like how it turned out. I just sort of embraced the roughness and the painterliness. I think it took me about an hour and a half to finish. I'd like to even become even more efficient with sort of the kind of painterly style, but as everyone probably knows from a lot of these kind of, when I post these kind of style of speed paints, I work in grayscale just to sort out my brain, because I can't do like value and color at the same time, or it just does not work out, and it takes like 6 times as long as it should. So I didn't do that. I even kept the pencil sketch I had there and kind of integrated it into the piece, because like I wanted this kind of rough and grainy. As you saw, I put like a gradient over top of the figure just to give me an overall, I don't know, I like doing that. It gives like an interesting variation. Nothing too crazy, but I think it makes a good difference. Gradients are your friend. And for the coloring, because I did everything grayscale, I kind of used the whole technique of blending, like having a separate color layer and then going to blending modes and then selecting color. And that will actually overlay the color on top of your shading and take into account the shading. So, less work. So yeah, that was that. Yeah, and one thing I also really, really liked about Castlevania was the voice acting. The voice acting was really good, and just the way the dialogue was written. It's like high fantasy, medieval stuff going on, and they're dropping like F-bombs and just like flipping the bird and just having these very like candid, relatable reactions to things sometimes, and you're just like, this is wonderful. So I really enjoyed it, and I really didn't expect to, because I just sort of threw it on Netflix one day. I had a day off, and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna watch something, and I'm glad I did. So her neck is actually a bit long, and I kind of did that intentionally just because, like, in the show she's pretty like long and gaunt, but also I kind of put that a little extra further to accentuate her inhumanness. Like, her head was already sort of kind of craned back, so I just sort of like ran with the length. And I don't know, at least to me, it made her feel a little bit more inhuman, a little bit more scary, a little bit more intimidating, I guess. Or, maybe I just made her neck too long, I don't know. So instead of like coloring her skin like human colored, she's super pale. So I actually was just kind of dusting purples and violets, kind of like flushing some areas, blushing her skin. So she had some color variation to her, but she was still that like kind of ghostly white as she should be. And I actually had a lot of fun with her armor. Her armor didn't seem like especially shiny, so I think it was kind of fun to almost restrain myself instead of being, you get a metal surface, just like, in your brain you're like, put all the shiny things. So I think that was a nice exercise. The one thing I am kicking myself about was I tended to go back and make some big value decisions, like in the hair and just sort of on certain sides of her face, or like not pushing the highlights enough. So it could have been more efficient, and I could have done a lot more solidifying in the grayscale value stage before I jumped into the coloring. But I guess that's the nice thing about that color label, you can just turn it off, go back to your kind of value study. But I would love to be able to kind of, do the values and then be able to slap the color on, do a little finessing and be done. Just kind of make it more efficient. But yeah, so here, and I will actually apologize because I did go back afterwards, after lunch, I think, I don't know, and I tweaked some things and added some more highlights and stuff, which is in the final piece I'll show at the end, but I forgot to record that. So I do apologize. There is going to be a little bit of a difference in the final that I'm going to show and what you're seeing here. It was only probably about 10 minutes, but it makes a difference. I played around a lot with lighting effects, if I'm honest, just because it's lighting. And it helps pop things out and helps kind of create a mood, and I wanted a bit of a mood on this. With the blood, actually, I have this idea in my head to kind of make it really fluorescent while everything was like really dark, like almost like stylize it, but then it didn't really work with the painterly way I was going. I did make it brighter, but like not as bright as I was going to make it. And yeah, I was just finessing the blood layers with blending those. And that brown patch was, I decided to put on extra texture just because it was already such, like, there was texture and graininess and brush strokes and whatnot, and I was like, oh, I'll let a bit more. And the areas that I didn't want as much texture, I used Kyle's like wet blender or oil mixer or whatever to get rid of that. But that is Carmilla from Castlevania. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. This was a quick one, but I'm happy I got to do it. I hope you're enjoying your autumn, and let me know if you've seen Castlevania or have any recommendations when it comes to horror anime or horror cartoons. I'm such a big baby when it comes to actual horror movies with real people, but I love like horror fiction and horror animes and horror animated series. So if you have any recommendations, put that in the comments down below, and then give a like if you like Carmilla. And if you like my stuff and you want to see more of what I do, I have a new video up every Thursday. So you can hit subscribe and hit that bell, and every Thursday you will be alerted to whatever the hell I do. All my social media links are down below. I also have a link to my store and coffee. So if you'd like to support me and or stalk me, check out those links down below. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. See you next week. Bye!